We come now to verse 45 of the 4th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus is returning to Galilee. He's passed through Samaria. We've had the encounter with the Samaritan woman and the response, of course, from the broader population of that community of Sychar. And now John is picking up the original narrative, indicating that Jesus is going to Galilee. And it seems that he gives, as an explanatory comment for that, Jesus' own saying that a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country. A prophet might experience honor everywhere else, but when he comes to his hometown, he is there dishonored. Of course, if we're familiar with the synoptic tradition, it immediately suggests that the reference by John at that point is to Jesus' experience in going to Nazareth, even though John says nothing about that particular venture by Jesus to his hometown. Others suggest that it's actually a reference to the true hometown of Jesus, you might say, Jerusalem. He has, after all, said that the temple is his Father's house, and that possibly the phrase that he used, this proverb that he recites, is a reference to Jerusalem. We're not going to try to dig into that any more deeply. It remains a somewhat controversial interpretation as to what's going on here, but one way or another, we continue. Hota, adverb, means when. Therefore. Therefore, when. Eilthen, third person singular. Aorist, active indicative. Therefore, when he came, eis tein Galileon, into the Galilee. Eis, the preposition, takes the accusative. So when he came into Galilee, edexonto. This is the third person plural, aorist, active indicative, from dekomai, receive. And so they received auton, him, direct object, hoi Galileoi, the Galileans. So we have this interesting remark that John makes. When Jesus therefore came to Galilee, the Galileans received him, as if putting this in contrast, of course, to the experience that Jesus had had in Judea, suggesting that the reference to the homeland actually is referring to Judea and to Jerusalem in particular. Many commentators take that view, others dissent from that, but one way or another, we hear that there is a favorable reception among the Galileans. Panta, this is the word that means all, pasa, pan, panta, all things. Heorakotes. Heorakotes is from harao. It means to see, to understand. This is the participle, perfect active participle, masculine, plural, nominative. So it refers to the Galileans who have seen all the things which, hosa, the connecting word here, the hosa, which epoiesen, third person singular, aorist active indicative, which he did in Hierosolumos, in the Jerusalems, literally, or in Jerusalems with the plural ending. But of course, as we've mentioned elsewhere, that's quite common to use the term Jerusalem in the plural. In te, heorte, this is the dative, of course. The preposition in takes the dative. The word means the feast or the festival. So they've seen the things which Jesus did in Jerusalem during the festival, kai autoi, and themselves, gar, for, eilthon, eis tein, heortein, and they themselves had gone, or they themselves went to the festival. These Galileans had witnessed the things that Jesus had done while there in Jerusalem at the feast day, and that disposed them to receive him more favorably than the people who were actually there in Jerusalem, suggesting that, of course, Jesus now in Galilee is going to be treated more honorably. He's going to be given better reception among these people than he experienced in Judea, with the sole exception, of course, of that which took place when he went to Nazareth. But as we've mentioned before, John doesn't have any account of that visit to Nazareth. That's found in the synoptics only. So anyway, it's an interesting little conundrum, but one way or another, we do have the general idea that Jesus would go to Galilee and there receive a more favorable reception among those people.